Stories Mother Told. For today's episode, we're back in Morocco, listening to a story from the Marrakech people. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let me take you back to Africa. Today's story is titled The Two Hunchbacks. A long time ago, two hunchbacks lived in Marrakech. One was a very good man who was always polite and courteous when he talked to others. He was like silent water, as the saying goes. But his friend was the opposite and was more like fire. When people met him, he was always rude. One Friday, early in the morning, the good hunchback wanted to have a wash, so he went in search of a hammam. Locals said a new one had just opened around the corner. "Welcome, you're my first guest," said the owner. The hunchback entered. The traditional hammam in Marrakech has 3 rooms, each harder than the one before. When he was inside the 3rd room, he saw a group of girls and boys having a party. They were singing and clapping their hands. Now these were not really girls and boys. They were genies who were playing before dawn. "Today is Friday," they sang, "and we shall eat couscous with butter and carrots," said the hunchback, clapping his hands in time to their music. The genies were delighted that they now had some new words for their song. "You're a good man," remarked the genies. "Tell us what you desire." "My greatest wish," replied the hunchback, "is to be rid of this wretched hump." They laid him on the stone floor before massaging his back with strange-smelling herbs. Amazingly, the lump became smaller and smaller until he could no longer feel it at all. He realized that this curse which he had endured all his life and which others had ridiculed had disappeared forever. Thanking the genies, he took his clothes, walking tall for the first time in his life. "This is truly the work of God," exclaimed the hammam owner when he saw his guest standing upright. A week later, this man met the other hunchback in the street. "I hardly recognized you," said the second man. "What happened?" The first man recounted exactly what had gone on in the hammam, telling his friend about his encounter with the genies and his miraculous recovery. "That's amazing," said the second one. "Tell me where this place is." So he told his friend how to find the hammam, advised him to go before sunrise. "If you join in their singing," the good man added, "you can ask them to grant you a wish, and God will help you too." The second hunchback made his way hurriedly to the baths. He was so impatient that he arrived there before they opened and was pacing around outside the entrance when the owner turned up. Scarcely had the patron unlocked the door when the second hunchback barged past him, grabbed a towel, and ran straight for the 3rd chamber. Sure enough, boy and girl genies were singing there. "Today is Friday," they sang, "and we shall eat good couscous with sour milk," chimed in the second hunchback. "With sour milk." Now, even a very inexperienced cook knows that you never eat couscous with sour milk. It will taste disgusting. The boys and girls grimaced at these words. "Grant me my wish now," shrieked the second man. "Very well," they said in unison. "Lie down on the floor and let us massage you." Smiling smugly to himself, the second man thought it would only be a matter of seconds before he too was tall, dark, and handsome. But the genies were so incensed that he had ruined their song that they took the first man's hump and added it to this man's to create one enormous hump. He was so disfigured that he looked more like a camel than a man. When he staggered out of the room, grabbing his clothes with great discomfort, he bumped into the owner at the door. "Oh my God!" screamed the owner, unable to stop staring at the biggest hump he had ever seen. "What happened to you? That hump is bigger than Mount Tubkal." "This is God's work," shouted the second man. "Curse him!" "How did you anger God?" "I met these genies and they sang a song about eating couscous and I joined in." "And what did you say?" "I said we shall have sour milk." "Sour milk?" laughed the owner. "That's crazy. No one eats sour milk with couscous." Casting his eyes around the streets, the second hunchback noticed that it had become lighter outside. He realized that the sun had come up and that the genies were no longer there. He went back to the hammam before sunrise the next week, the one after that, and the one after that. In fact, he was the most regular visitor to these baths for many months. But not once did he see those genies again, just other men covered in sweat and wrapped in towels, who sneered and smirked behind his back because they had never seen such a big hump. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. As usual, please do not forget to rate and review the podcast on Apple and any other platforms that you listen on. Also, please subscribe and share the podcast with a friend. If there are any stories you would like to listen to, send me an email at storiesmothertold@gmail.com. Until next week, see ya.